Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about how we can get clarity within chaos. It's a fact of life that all of our lives we will have visits from chaos every now and then, but how can we get clarity? My name is Lynn and I empower men and women to step outside of their comfort zone and begin living a life that they could have never imagined. I love to ignite a fire and a passion in people who are ready for a change. And I often talk to people about how can we get clarity in our lives. Just recently, I was talking to some good friends of mine who I consider part of my tribe. We bounce ideas off of, but all of us were expressing this feeling of overwhelmed or chaos. And while we were talking about it, we were really all sort of coaching each other along the way. So I thought I would hop on here and give you 10 tips that I actually have come up with that have worked for me on how to get clarity within the chaos. Life is a mess sometimes, right? It is. We can walk around confused and rattled within the chaos, and it goes through different seasons. No one is immune to chaos. Our life does not come with a roadmap, doesn't come with a GPS, and it doesn't come with directions. And we're going to be hitting the walls now and then, and life will get chaotic. But there are some things that we can do for clarity. Have you ever driven in a snowstorm? I have here in Missouri, or maybe if you don't have snow, maybe it's a pouring rainstorm, or even just a thick fog. Just one of those thick fogs that you can barely see in front of you. So whether it's a snowstorm, a rainstorm, or fog, it's hard to see the lines. That's what our life can be like sometimes. It's hard to follow along. Like, what are we supposed to do in the middle of this chaos? Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not talking about business. I'm talking about life just in general, your relationships, your family, maybe you are just chaotic. Maybe your family's chaotic. Maybe your relationships are chaotic. So take the business side away and let's just talk about life in general. So what do we do to get off of the hamster wheel or the roller coaster or leave the jungle? What do we do? How can we find clarity in that chaos of the jungle? Well, I've got 10 tips. Now, none of these are in a particular order, but they do work. They're tried and true things that I've actually done. So the first one is to slow down. It's like a no-brainer, right? Slow down. We don't get today over. Yes, there are new mercies tomorrow, thank the Lord, but we don't get this 24 hours over again. We don't get it back. So there is nothing, and again, now I'm not talking about business, but in life, there's nothing that will be lost if you don't complete it or get through it today. There's just nothing. Don't allow the future what ifs to interrupt your now. Mark Twain had a great quote, and Tom Petty actually paraphrased off it. I love Tom Petty, but I'm just going to say the Mark Twain quote. He said, "I have spent most of my life worrying about the things that never happened." Tom Petty said the same thing. Listen, I spent most of my life worrying about things that never did happen. So if you slow down and appreciate what's happening today and not be thinking about the what ifs of tomorrow. The truth of the matter is that every day has 24 hours in it. So yesterday was 24 hours, today's 24 hours, and tomorrow. We don't get shortened hours. Some days aren't 18, some days aren't 20, some days aren't 28. They're all 24 hours. So slow down. Slow down. Number 2, tie up loose ends. You know those things that are looming over your head that you need to get done? Let me back up a little bit. There's this woman years ago, I believe she was Russian. Her last name was Zigarnik, something like that. But it's called the Zigarnik effect. And what it is people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks way better than they do completed tasks. So those things that are sticking out over your head, you will remember them much more than you will remember all the things you did get done. Now, I'm dumbing down that effect, but it really is very, it works in this situation. To get clarity within the chaos, you've got to tie up those loose ends. So you know those things that are looming over your head, those to-do list? Well, you've got to expose them, get them out there. What do I have to do? And then finish them. So what I do is I love Post-it notes. Start jotting a few things down on your Post-it note, or set an alarm on your phone or a reminder on your phone. Start getting those things that are looming over your head. Get them done. Get them done. So number 2, tie up loose ends. It'll help you to get some clarity. Number three is get back to your core. And when I say that, I mean your core values. Your core values make us step back and put matters under a microscope and ask ourselves, is that really part of my core values? All this chaos that's going around, am I allowing it to happen? Is it part of who I am? Is it connected to my core values? Because if it's not, let it go. We all have fundamental beliefs. They're called our core values. And you can Google it and come up with a whole bunch of them, but maybe your core values are integrity, honesty, your health, respect, having an attitude of servant leadership. Get back to your core and examine your priorities. Are they lining up? Is this chaos in tune with what your core value is? Because if it's not, let it go. Number four is examine your past. Examine your past. Bad things happen, and I don't want to dumb it down, and I don't know the bad things that happen in your life, so please do not misunderstand what I'm saying, but bad things happen. No one is immune. Some bad things are a ton worse than others, but bad things happen. But as a coach, I coach people, and we dig and we find out what those bad things were, or those limiting beliefs, or those stories. But we don't stay stuck. We move forward and we accept. We don't have to agree with what happened, but we accept it. And we move ahead, not with dread or exhaustion or chaos. Life can be beautiful again. I promise you it can. So examine your past. If you're feeling all this chaos and you want clarity, examine your past. Number 5, have a little solo time. It's time to get solo. Time spent alone can be awesome. It can be the antidote to chaos. I love being by myself sometimes. And when I say that, I mean no cell phone. No, nothing to bother you. And you and I need to get comfortable in our own company. We're walking around with ourselves 24/7. So we better be comfortable with ourselves. So you gotta have some solo time. And if you're one of those people that your mind is constantly going, because sometimes that's me, your mind is constantly going, and when you sit down, you've gotta, then grab a Post-it, pack of Post-it notes, and when something comes in your mind that doesn't belong there in your solo time, jot it down and put it to the side. Have solo time. Number 6 is notice the winks. Notice the winks. I personally call them God winks, but maybe you want to call them something else. But notice the winks. Listen, feel, see the signs that are out there that are validating this chaos. And tune into your radio frequency or your inner pilot light and listen and notice those winks. When my friends and I had conversations the other day about this feeling out of control and this chaos, and then we were validating each other saying, no way, I've been thinking the same thing. That was a wink. This morning I read a devotional that was about embracing the here and now, and we can't get this day back. That was a wink. That was validation to me that, okay, I better watch this. I need to get back to my core beliefs and acting solo and letting go of the past and all those things. Listen to the God winks. Listen to the winks. Number 7, give grace. Give grace. Give yourself grace. Would you think about bad things or say bad things about yourself? Would you say them to your friend? Because we speak to ourselves that way a lot. We are so often finding what's wrong with us than all the things that are right. So give yourself grace, be gentle, and talk to yourself with kindness. Number 8 is stand on the balcony and look down. I have great memories of being on a balcony in Cannes, France, and looking down, and I could see so far. I have memories of being on the balcony in Vegas. Not as pretty a sight as it was in France, but I remember looking down. Go get on your balcony and get perspective. Things make sense when we step back and we see broadly. So stand on the balcony and look at your chaos. Get a better view. Number 9 is get curious. I get curious with myself. I get nosy with myself. And I ask myself, listen, why am I feeling this way? Why? Because there's usually always a reason why. Dig. When did I start feeling this way? I ask myself the W's. When, who, what, why? So when did I start feeling this way? Who is in my world right now that is sort of adding fuel to my chaos? Who are the sandpaper people in my life? They just rub me wrong. Maybe, I'm sure I'm a sandpaper person for somebody. But who are those people? When am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this? And what is going on in my life that I'm feeling this chaos? So get curious and ask yourself who, what, why, when. You got to do some introspection. And the last one is have an attitude of gratitude. I know it's kind of an overused term, but seriously, the greatest antidote for all chaos is to be grateful. I heard something on the radio today that we here in America expect comfort. So when we're feeling uncomfortable or chaos, we don't know what to do with it. But if you visit countries around the world, third world countries for sure, they expect chaos. They expect discomfort. And then when they don't get that, woo, they're grateful. So have an attitude of gratitude and it will put it in perspective. Now, to tie up this video of how to get clarity in the chaos, I don't want to dumb this down, but you and I just need to breathe. Just breathe. You and I will never, ever have this moment again. We aren't guaranteed tomorrow. If you got some value out of this video and someone in your world needs this, then share it with them or tag them. If you got value out of this, please leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. I'd appreciate it. I love to pay things forward, and that's just a mantra in my life. So I enjoy passing on some coaching that I do with people to you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you.